surprise day in court for a Capitol riot defendant, a Texas realtor who predicted she was, quote, definitely not going to jail because she, quote, had blonde hair and white skin, was sentenced to 60 days in jail by a U.S. District Court judge.
Chief investigative reporter Eric Flack, you want to take this?
Yeah, he joins us right now outside of the courtroom right now to let us know how this all panned out. Hey, Flack.
Hey, Zoe, you know, the judge called Jenna Ryan one of the faces of January 6th, but he said she put herself in that position with all her media interviews and social media posts, including ones in which she said she wasn't going to jail because of the color of her skin and that she did nothing wrong.
Dallas area real estate agent and social media influencer Jenna Ryan defiant as she arrived at U.S. District Court Thursday.
When you said that you weren't going to jail because you were blonde and white, what did you mean by that?
I didn't say that.
Actually, she tweeted it back in March, quote, definitely not going to jail. Sorry, I have blonde hair, white skin, a great future, and I'm not going to jail. I did nothing wrong. What Ryan did was hop a private jet to attend former President Donald Trump's Stop the Steal rally on January 6th. Once at the Capitol, she entered the building with other members of the mob and was later filmed at the front of a crowd encouraging the assault. Although Ryan was only inside the Capitol for about 2 minutes and did not engage in any violence herself, Judge Christopher Cooper said he felt he needed to make an example out of Ryan, in part because of the attention her own media appearances and social media posts drew to the case, adding, quote, I think the sentence should show them we are taking it seriously. The judge sentenced Ryan to 60 days behind bars for her guilty plea to a single Class B misdemeanor count of parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building.
Because I'm a public person and I have a Twitter account, I'm being punished for that. And because the media was doing what y'all are doing right now, I'm being punished for this. And it's actually causing my incarceration.
The judge ordered Ryan to self-surrender to serve that 60-day jail sentence sometime after January 3rd. She is going to serve that prison term in her home state of Texas. Guys, we are now up to more than 100 different Capitol riot defendants who have pled guilty for crimes related to January 6th. Back to you.
All right, blaming Twitter and the media. All right, Flack, thank you so much. Well, you know, our team is...
Later, from January 6th, Jenna Ryan, she gained some notoriety because she was one of the people who was known from flying in from Dallas to DC on a private jet to participate in the insurrection and the rioting that went on at the Capitol. Now, she has just been sentenced to 60 days in prison. Now, I know what you're thinking because I thought the same thing. Only 60 days? But she's thinking the opposite. She's surprised that she's getting even 60 days in prison because she's been spouting off on Twitter and Facebook and anywhere else she can find to talk about just how proud she was of that moment and just how much she's not gonna pay for it. Let's go to this tweet that she had from back in March when someone did call her out when she was just gloating online. So the first person tweeted her, you're gonna go to jail, you're going to jail. As you know, that well-known gif there with Oprah Winfrey. And in response to that, Jenna Ryan responded to that person and said, definitely not going to jail. Sorry, I have blonde hair, white skin, a great job, a great future, and I'm not going to jail. She missed all punctuation there. Sorry to rain on your hater parade. I did nothing wrong. Okay, well, is it you did nothing wrong? Or is it that you have white skin, blonde hair, a great job, and a great future? Because I don't know, those things I don't remember being a part of a legal issue. Anyways, in addition to that, during that day, she decided to pose outside of the Capitol saying with that bunch of nothing that was done wrong right next to her there, throwing up a peace sign with the American flag wrapped around her in her scarf there. These more flipping her, tonguing, what's the term? Thumbing her nose at the system as this all goes. It was the tongue
it's
or
definitely
nose,
not tonguing.
or the ear.
You're tonguing the system.
Maybe it's the eyebrow. I don't know. It's one of those things. So
they definitely tongued the system on January 6th. Let's be honest, too hard, too much.
We're gonna tongue the system. Not only that, but she was also caught on video saying this is what they also put forward in her trial. We're going to effing go in there. This is Jenna Ryan. Life or death, it doesn't matter. Here we go. So again, I'm still trying to find out, did she do anything wrong here? I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I gotta jump in, Jared. So that last statement on life or death, that gives you two really important facts. Number one, they knew what they were doing was wrong. She thinks there's some chance were not going to make it out alive. You don't think that if you're having a day at the park. Okay, I don't go, hey, well, let's go to the picnic, life or death. Okay. So all this revisionist history about, oh no, they were just tourists. What's the big deal, right? They're American patriots. No, going in, they were saying life or death. They were also chanting hang Mike Pence, which would have been death for him. But so she absolutely positively knew they were breaking the law and they were playing with people's lives at that time, okay? So, and then the second part is going in, she's like, life or death, I'm coming in, okay? Afterwards, she's like, what, you're arresting me? Why are you arresting me? Why are you grabbing me? Why are you grabbing me? Wait a minute, you said you were going in life or death. How could you possibly be surprised that you were arrested? Because no, you're not surprised. You just thought, oh, I can get away with anything.
Well, first
she just said it.
I think the surprise was for the arrest, and the second was for getting anything done because she's white and she's blonde. Now, Francesca, I do want to hear what you have to say. After you listen to now, Jenna Ryan upset about the consequences, and she was speaking outside of amongst a few reporters. Let's listen to her really quickly.
I think that is a travesty. I think that everybody should be able to tweet without being persecuted and treated like crap. So it's, watch what you tweet, because if you tweet, you can go to jail. I regret ever tweeting, but it's a free country and I'm allowed to say, it's free speech.
Francesca, it's time for you to check your Twitter account, because if you tweet, you go to jail.
Just like as I'm, storming the Capitol and punching a police officer in the face. Oh my God. Yeah, this is all the, I'm reminded of OG Chappelle, the good Chappelle, who said, I'm sorry, officer, I didn't know I couldn't do that. And you get big, I'm sorry, officer, I didn't know I couldn't do that vibes from Jenna Ryan, who, again, back in March, I was like, oh yeah, she's right. Like her snippy little, I'm blonde and I'm not going to jail. I was like, I hate you because you're right. And it turns out she wasn't. She's been sentenced. So, right, we got 60 days. Maybe that'll be lessened to, I don't know, she's got a lawyer. She flew on a private jet, you guys. Yes, Trump and the working class vote. The private jets and the boat dads and all the business owners that could close down for a few days just to some light treason. Again, January 6th just implodes the idea that Trump speaks for any working people. Wasn't it a Wednesday? Get out of here.
Okay, so the problem is that the right wing will believe anything. So she says that. I'm sure conservative media will repeat that 1,000 times, and people will think that she actually got arrested for tweeting. No, she got arrested for admitting a crime on Twitter. Okay, so if somebody said on Twitter, hey, I just committed double homicide. You can find the dead bodies at my house, and here's the address. They didn't get arrested for tweeting. They got arrested for the murder, which they confessed to on Twitter. And so that's the same thing here. She's like, I'm going in here to break in to this building, and I'm gonna hurt for some folks because life or death, right? The problem isn't the tweet, the problem is the confession and the picture that went along with your law breaking. That's like posing, in my analogy, that's like posing next to the two dead bodies and going, what, now you get arrested for taking pictures? No.
A realtor from Frisco stormed the Capitol on January 6th, and now she's going to spend 60 days in jail. Jenna Ryan took a private jet to Washington, then shared pictures and videos on social media showing her inside the Capitol during the siege. A few months ago, Ryan agreed to a plea deal, and as part of the agreement, law enforcement will review her social media for anything relating to the riot. Ryan did write a letter to the judge apologizing for her actions that day.
And along with Florida, Texas led the country in the charges from the riot, including Jenna Ryan's case. There are currently 59 defendants from Texas, 12 of those known to be from North Texas. Among the most notable,
once bragged online about going to the Capitol on January 6th. And she told us she went because President Trump told her to. Our Robbie Owens live for us now in our CBS and DFW studios. And Robbie, she has plenty to say to cameras, and she apologized in court today.
Yes, you did, Ken. Let's get to the sentence. Jenna Ryan pleaded guilty to one count of parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol building. She was sentenced to 60 days in prison and will pay $1,500 in fines, saying in court today, quote, "I made a mistake and I'm sorry, and this is not anything that remotely resembles who I am." But some are questioning whether that contrition is genuine, pointing to social media posts where Ryan boasted that race would shield her from consequences. On March 26, Ryan posted on Twitter saying, quote, "Definitely not going to jail. Sorry, I have blonde hair, white skin, a great job, a great future, and I'm not going to jail. Sorry to rain on your hater parade. I did nothing wrong." End quote. And handing down the sentence, the judge noted that Ryan was not being prosecuted for belief that the election was stolen, but for the decision to go into the Capitol building that day. That judge adding, quote, "Your case has generated a fair amount of public interest, and I think the sentence should tell them that we take it seriously and that it should never happen again." End quote. Now, after that courtroom apology, this was Ryan's response after she left the courthouse.
I think that that is a travesty. I think that everybody should be able to tweet without being persecuted and treated like crap. So it's, watch what you tweet, because if you tweet, you can go to jail. I regret ever tweeting, but, it's a free country and I'm allowed to say, it's free speech.
To be clear, Ryan is not going to jail for a tweet. She's headed to prison for her admitted role in the January 6th insurrection. She's expected to begin serving that sentence in January of next year. Live in the CBSN studios, Robbie Owens, CBS 11 News.